Re-roll that 2. Got it there. Okay, so I have it. So there is a point for the circles. Well, hi everybody. I hope you're all doing well in quarantine or stay-at-home order. I am staying at home and trying to find things to do, and I invented a solitaire game. Only requires you having a set of 5 dice and a piece of paper and a pen or a pencil. You can play it with 2 players, and it's a great 2-player game, or you can play it totally as a solitaire game, and that works too. The game is called Yahtzee Baseball, and it is Yahtzee with baseball rules. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to set up the game board. Okay, and you can get as elaborate with this as you want to, or you can get as simple as you want to. I'm going to go kind of a moderate thing here. Okay, so this is, I have no idea how to spell Yahtzee, so I'm going to try that way. Do know how to spell baseball. Okay, so you're going to start off by numbering on one line of a piece of paper, 1 through 6, with a little bit of space in between. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then just to the left of that and down a space, you're going to number down 3, 4, and then you can either put a Y or a 5. That's your Yahtzees, okay? And then you're going to draw this grid pattern in. And I know this looks kind of tedious at first, but once you do this a couple times, it gets really easy. Or what you could do, what I do is you can draw this in pen and then use a pencil to play, and then you can just erase and keep the board. Okay, so I'm putting all of these in here. Okay, and then between the 3 and the 4 down here, I'm going to create another 2 boxes. And these are going to be for the straights, and there's going to be a high straight, which is 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and a low straight, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's the game board. That's the baseball diamond right here. And then just below that, I will count down 9 lines. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and then just kind of go over to try to do as best as you can to make a box or a big long rectangle like this. Fill in the lines here. Like so, and then I write 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like that, and then I go across them. Okay, so that you have the top and the bottom of the first inning, second inning, third inning, that sort of thing. So again, like baseball, all right? Then, if you want to, you can create a separate scoreboard over here, or you can just keep going from the points racked up over here. I'm going to go ahead and write out the scoreboard, but I will skip ahead in the video or fast forward it so you don't see, because this can be a little bit longer. If you're taking this a little bit more serious, if you're having a tournament or something like that, it's a good idea to write one of these out. I can show you a full game board in a minute. But okay, so there you can see the scoreboard right here, and this is a way you can keep score alternatively to keeping score here. Okay, so you can use X's and O's or squares and circles, it doesn't matter. If you are playing by yourself, it's a good idea to just take a little piece of paper or something and write an X and an O or a circle on it, like this, so that you can keep track of who you're playing for. If you're playing with another person, that's not as necessary, although I just went ahead and made a whole stack of them, all the combinations, so that whatever, and I play my league, because I'm a total dork, has 6 teams, so I have all the combinations in here. But for now, we're going to play with the X's and the O's. Okay, so what are the rules of Yahtzee Baseball? How you score points, okay, is you are either able to roll a 3 of any number 1 through 6, a 4 of any number 1 through 6, or a Yahtzee, which is all 5 of 1 through 6, or a high straight or a low straight. Okay, those are the ways you can get on the board. If you roll one of those, and I'll talk to you in a second about how you actually roll, you get to put your symbol on the board there. The way you score points is if you get a Yahtzee, you get 1 point. Okay. If you get a high straight or a low straight, you also get 1 point. If you have the majority of the squares or the bases, you can think of it, lined up under one number. So example 1, if I was playing X's and I had an X here and an X here, then I would get a point, and I usually do that by making the symbol up on top. I would get a point for that too, regardless of if I have the Yahtzee or not. Although what can happen is you can get a double play, and you can have one of your symbol here, and then I can get a Yahtzee, and I'll get a point from this, and I'll get a point because I have the majority in that column, and so I get another point there. If on one single turn, okay, it doesn't have to be consecutive on that turn, but if on one single turn you are able to fill up with your symbol all three of the bases in a column that are all your symbols, then that's a grand slam, and you will get 3 points for that. Okay, the point system works. There are 14 potential points on the board, and so you will play through the innings unless a player reaches a score of 8 runs. At 8 runs, the game is over. The game stops because baseball is a civil game. If a team reaches 7 and the other team is able to reach 7 at some point, and that game is automatically a tie because there are no more points available. The exception is if you get that grand slam, there is an extra point that floats around, but we don't really consider that. That's just a bonus point. If it is not a 7, let's say you play the innings all the way down to the 9th, you're at the bottom of the 9th, and the score is tied up 4-4, then just like in baseball, you would play another inning, and you would keep playing overtime innings until at the end of an inning, there is one player has a lead or one team has a lead, and then of course you win the game. Okay, so that's pretty much how it is. So I say that you have who has home field advantage. In this case, we're going to say X, and then circles are going to be the other one. You could roll dice if you're playing with another person, or it just doesn't really matter when you're by yourself, or if you set up a season, then you go by what the season schedule. So I go ahead, and now I'm going to move this over a little bit. Hopefully you can still see the scoreboard. Okay, I'm going to go play through a couple rounds. Just you got to get an idea of how this goes, and I'll explain to you the rolling rules, and then maybe we'll skip ahead and see how this goes. Okay, so rolling rules. You get to go ahead and roll with your symbol up 5 dice. Okay, at once onto a table. Okay, if they go off a table, that you can figure out your house rules if you want to, how you want to handle that. Okay. Then you have some tries to get something to work. Now, in my case, I rolled 3 5s. Okay, so I have 3 5s. I'm going to put those in a row on my little symbol here. I know that I already have, right here, a place to mark on the board. But now I basically have a free roll because there's nothing down here. I'm going to see if I can get maybe a Yahtzee or maybe a 4. Okay, so I'm going to roll 1. I didn't get anything. 2. Still didn't get anything. That was a 6 over here. And 3. Okay, now 3, I got another 5 here, okay? So that puts me down here, and every time you get a number that you were trying to get, that you've placed on your symbol card, you get an extra roll. So I get to re-roll 3. And in this case, I didn't get it. I got a 2, but that's okay because I will be able to make my mark on 4 5s, which is right here, which doesn't give me any points right away, but it could give me points down the road. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do it again. All right, now here I don't have anything in particular, but I want to talk to you about a rule called bunting. Okay, you can bunt, especially early on in the game, where if you roll from your 5 and you have 2 numbers here, you have 2 pairs basically, that neither one of them have the 3 spot filled up. There's nobody on that third or that first base. I guess you can think of it as first, second, and third base. Nobody's on that first base. You can put both of those pairs onto your little tab here and roll 3 times. And if you get one of them, we'll just roll here. So 1, 2. Okay, so I got a 4. So instead of being able to now then see how far I can get, because that was a bunt, I have the 4, so now I just have to take that 4 right there. But it's a great way of getting on the board, of loading the bases, and maybe if you have one down here, like if I could bunt and get a 5, then I could have scored a point there, okay? You keep going like this until you reach a point where, after 3 rolls, you cannot go forward. You can't put a mark on the board, and then it switches over to the next player. You go to the bottom of the inning, and that's how it works, okay? So here, for example, I have not a whole lot, okay? I could re-roll this whole hand, but that would give me, that would only give me 2 more chances of trying to roll if I get a pair. I could try to go for a high straight or a low straight. I think I have more for a low straight. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I'm missing 4, and I have 5, and I'm here. So I have 3 chances to roll a 4. 1, that was a 3. 2, 3. Didn't get it. Okay, so my turn is over. So then on the score over here, on the innings, kind of whatever you want to call it over here, I didn't get any points, so I'm going to put a 0 there. And then on my mark here, for this inning, I'm going to put a 0 there. And then we flip it over to the O's, okay, and we go the same way, all right? So 4s already has a 3 spot, so I'm not super interested in that, but I don't really have much more, so maybe I'll go ahead and try to load the base and try to get the 4. 4, okay, so I get to roll again, so 1. I got it again. There's 4 there. Now I can keep going, try to get this Yahtzee. 1, 2, 3. I didn't get it, but I got the 4, so I can put this circle in the 4 spot. Now what this does, this loads this 4 column here. This loads the bases basically, because whoever can get this Yahtzee first is going to get a double play, right? They're going to be able to get a point for the Yahtzee, and they're going to get a point because they have the most symbols in the column. So 4s are going to be a hotly contested item. This usually will come out later in the game, but sometimes it comes out pretty early. So I didn't get a 4. I got a pair of 6s, so I'm going to try to get 6s on the board. Pair of 2s. Now I can choose to bunt now because there is no 3 spot in the 6s or the 2s, but I'm going to start off at 2 because I've already rolled once. So 2, nope, but it worked out because I got the 2. Oops. Okay, let's roll again. Oh, 6s, and I got 3 6s, so that automatically means I get on the board. Now that means I have basically infinite, or I have 3 rolls to try to get to a Yahtzee, which gives me a point. 1, didn't get it there. 2, got it there. Re-roll that 2, got it there. Okay, so I have it. So there is a point for the circles. They put 1 point down there. You should put the little symbol in the inning box. So right now, bottom of the first, the score is X is 0, circles 1. Okay. Now I could try to go for that other point. If I could get a 3-6, then I could get another point because then I would have the most symbols in that column. So and I got it right there. I got a 4. Okay. And I'm going to stop. You can stop at any point by just tapping your dice, your extra dice, okay? However, and here's the rule. So now I have another point. I mark that by putting it up here. I'm going to put another symbol down here. So now it's X is 0, O's 2. If you roll, like let's say I was doing this and I wasn't paying attention, and for whatever reason, I wanted, let's say for here, I wanted to get a 5, okay? And I had rolled 3 5s. The smart move would be to stop right there, because then I would fill up my circle if I was playing on X's, excuse me. The smart move would be to stop on 3 right there, because then I would put my mark there. I'd have the majority. I would get a point. If, however, I kept rolling, decided maybe I'm going to try to get that Yahtzee, and I'm unable to, and I'm only able to get to the 4, well, the 4 spot's already taken, and that's an out. And so you lose that round, and then your points get put down, and it moves on to the next player. So that is the basics of Yahtzee Baseball. There's tons of room for improvement in this. It's a great game while you're just sitting around in quarantine. You can listen to a podcast. You can play with your kids. It's easy enough to play with kids. You You can make this as simple or as complicated as you want to. I initially developed this for a person with disabilities to try to play physical Yahtzee with dice without having to do a bunch of counting. So you can make this as simple as just every time you put a dot on the board, you get a point if you're playing with a kid or somebody who maybe wouldn't understand the rules, or you can get really complicated. And I just want to show you, I am in the middle of my second league with my wife, who is now quarantined at home with me, stay at home at ordered with me. And I've done this in pen, and then I play with pencil. Okay, and you can see, you can get kind of silly with it, but here's my season, here are my 6 teams, and so far here are the results going down here, and you can see all the different results that we've had. And like I said, if you make the game board and everything in pen, and then you just use pencil, then you can go ahead and erase it and reuse this game board over and over again until it kind of wears out, and then you get another one. Or I suppose you could write this out in pen and laminate it, or put some hillbilly laminate it, put some packing tape over it, and use a dry erase marker or wet erase marker. That would work too. It's up to you. Anyway, I hope you find this something to do and relieve a little bit of boredom. If you like it, give it a thumbs up, share it, or whatever. If you don't like it, then you don't have to play it. And anyway, there will probably be more tea videos coming up on Scotty Drinks Tea. If you're wondering what in the world a tea channel is doing making a game, well, I've been having some sinus issues. I haven't been able to taste anything for a while. And so I haven't been drinking much tea, but I have been playing this. So if you like this, I have one other solitaire game that involves cards and some dice. That is kind of fun. So if I get a good response from this, then maybe I'll show you how to play that too. All right. Thank you. Have a good day. Wash your hands. Stay safe.